At exactly 7:42 p.m., soaked in sweat and motor oil, broke mechanic Noah Briggs wiped his trembling hands on a threadbare rag and looked up to see the one car he always dreamed of working on, a Rathmore LX7 gleaming under a burnt orange sunset. The driver's door creaked open, and a tall woman in a grey pantsuit stepped out, her voice soft but commanding. "Is this Briggs' auto?" Noah stared, frozen. She had no idea those tools in his hand were his last. And he had no idea. She owned Rathmore Motors. The sky was bleeding color as the day died over Benton Ridge, a forgotten town stitched together by rust, sweat, and last chances. Noah Briggs sat on a plastic crate outside his crumbling garage. Boots. Cracked, shirt half unbuttoned, and eyes heavy with the kind of tired that sleep didn't fix. He hadn't had a real customer in 4 days. Bills were stacked in his tiny office. His fridge was empty but for baking soda and one bruised apple. The wrench in his hand, borrowed from a junkyard friend who didn't know it was his last shot. Then came the car. Low hum, sleek growl, tailored. Tires kissing gravel. His eyes snapped up. Rathmore LX7, silver, purring, impossible. That car didn't belong in Benton Ridge. That car cost more than his entire garage. That car was his dream, not just to touch, to build, to learn from. It stopped, 10 feet in front of him. The engine gave one low cough. Then silence. Driver's door opened with a smooth pop. A woman stepped out, tall, poised, hair tied in a low, no-nonsense bun. No umbrella, no makeup, no hesitation. Her sharp grey pantsuit clung to her like armor, sleeves rolled just enough to show purpose. She had the kind of face that made you think twice before speaking out of line. Not model beautiful, commanding beautiful. "Is this Briggs' auto?" she asked, scanning the garage, unimpressed. Noah blinked. "Yeah, but I don't really work on that kind of car," she raised a brow. "You fix engines, right?" Yeah, sure, of course, just not usually ones with titanium turbo spines." She leaned on the car, crossing her arms. "I don't care about the badge. I care if you can get me out of here in under an hour." Noah stood up. "What happened?" She stepped aside. "Smelled something burning. Dashboard lit up like Vegas. I pulled over." Noah crouched low, popped the hood. Steam. Coolant hissed softly. The damage wasn't catastrophic yet. He could fix it. If his hands didn't shake. If his tools held out. If his borrowed jack didn't finally collapse. She peered over him. "Can you do it or not?" He looked up. "I can. But I'm going to be honest with you. These tools." He held up a battered wrench and a pair of split-handled pliers. "They're all I've got. If they break, I'm done. Garage is closing in 2 weeks, maybe sooner." For a flicker, something changed in her face. A pause, a softness behind the steel. Then, "You still offering to try?" He nodded. "Yes, ma'am. Then I'm staying right here." Noah didn't know who she was. Not yet. Didn't know she signed his rejection letter 3 years ago. Didn't know she once said, "Mechanics without degrees don't belong in innovation." Didn't know she was about to give him a shot no Ivy League resume ever could. But right now, she sat on a stool beside him, watching every move. And right now, he worked like a man whose life was in that engine, because it was. By the time Noah twisted the last bolt into place, his hands were red and raw, his shirt soaked in grease and sweat, and his knuckles stung from a nasty nick on the radiator bracket. The sun had dipped below the trees. Crickets hummed like background noise for a film he never signed up for. The woman, still sitting beside the car on a rusted stool, watched him without a single yawn or glance at her phone. No complaints, no sighs. Just quiet focus. When Noah finally stepped back, he exhaled hard, dragging the back of his arm across his forehead. "Try the ignition." She stood, brushed off her pant legs, slid into the car with the kind of elegance that didn't belong anywhere near engine grease. The door clicked shut. The key turned, purr, smooth, silent, alive. Noah's breath caught, not because it started, but because that car should not have started with what he used. The window slid down. You rebuilt the coolant line with duct, tape and an old hose. He nodded, sheepish. And a prayer. She studied him, really studied him. Where did you learn that? Life, trial, a lot of error. Not school? He shook his head. Didn't have money for that. She stepped. Out again, slow this time. Her heels clicked on the concrete. You know, she said, walking closer, Rathmore has a line of applicants every year who beg for a chance to even tour our engineering division. Ivy League, MIT, the works. He blinked. Wait. Our? She extended her hand. I'm Camilla Rathmore, CEO. Noah's heart stopped, just for a second, maybe two. His mouth dried. You're the one who owns... She nodded. I own the company you've just repaired with scrap, intuition, and more raw talent than half our boardroom combined. He pulled back instinctively. You must think I'm a joke. She didn't laugh. Instead, she stepped closer and said, something that no boss, no executive, no anyone had said to him in years. You fixed more than the car tonight, Noah. You fixed the way I look at people. They sat on the shop stoop after that, her expensive pants brushing against rust, his boots tapping against a cracked sidewalk. The town was silent but for distant barking and the occasional buzz of streetlights flickering to life. Why'd you stop here? He finally asked. Camilla looked down. I didn't mean to. GPS glitched. I was trying to get to a regional conference 2 hours north, but I'm glad it brought me here. He chuckled. If you're looking for promising innovation, you're off the map. She turned toward him. That's where you're wrong. There was something in her voice. It wasn't just appreciation. It was awe. He shifted awkwardly. Well, you don't have to pay me or anything. I mean, it was just I'm not paying you, she interrupted. Not tonight. Noah's heart sank. Then she added, because I'm not done with you. Yet, she stood up, walked back to her car, turned before getting in. I'm flying back to New York tomorrow. If you ever wanted to visit a real shop floor, see how Rathmore designs from the ground up, I'd like to personally invite you. His mouth fell open. What, like a tour? She smiled. No, Noah, like a trial run. 3 weeks, paid, lodging covered. He stood, stunned. Why me? Camilla tilted her head. Because you didn't just fix my car. You gave everything when you had nothing. That's the kind of engineer I want. Around me, she climbed into the car, rolled down the window one last time. Oh, and one more thing, she added, her voice lower now. 3 years ago, I turned down a handwritten application from someone in Benton Ridge. Said he wasn't qualified, that he didn't belong. I've kept that letter. Noah blinked, stunned. Camilla smiled softly. I was wrong. Then the engine purred, the tires rolled, and the silver Rathmore slipped back onto the road like a ghost. Noah didn't move for a long time. Not until he turned around, looked at his dead, closed sign, and whispered, I think it's time to flip that. Noah Briggs didn't sleep that night, not because of excitement, because of fear. He'd been told no so many times that even this yes, even from Camilla Rathmore herself, felt like a setup. Like life was playing chicken with his hopes, and he'd lose again. The next morning, before the sun even cleared the water tower, he dragged his tired body into the garage. Same cracked floors, same rusty ceiling fan, but it felt different now, like the walls had heard something sacred and they were holding their breath. Then his phone buzzed. An email. Subject, invitation confirmed. Trial period. Begins. It was real. An executive-level onboarding form. Plane tickets. A hotel reservation. And at the very bottom, bring whatever tools you have. We want your hands, not ours. Noah stared at that line, then down at his battered wrench. It wasn't a tool anymore. It was proof. 3 days later, he landed in New York. It was his. First flight. His hands shook when he touched down, not from nerves, from disbelief. A car waited at the curb, gloss black, Rathmore badge gleaming on the hood. When the driver opened the door, Noah hesitated. "This for me?" The driver smiled. "You're Noah Briggs, right?" "Yeah." Camilla said, "Make sure he feels seen. So buckle in." At the Rathmore Motors Research Facility, steel and glass ruled the horizon. Security buzzed. Cameras clicked. Everyone wore lanyards and ambition. Noah's oil-stained duffel bag looked like a relic from a different century. Camilla greeted him at the elevator with a smile, hair still perfectly tied back. "You look like you slept in a garage." "I did," he said. "On purpose. Wanted to remember where I came from." Her expression softened. "Let's make sure you never forget, but also never have to go back." She guided him through floor after floor of humming innovation, robotic, arms, AI diagnostics, engine prototypes glittering behind glass, and then, "Your desk," she said. It wasn't a desk. It was a full workbench, titanium tools, a stripped-down LX7 engine block waiting like a puzzle. Camilla placed a hand on his shoulder. "You're not here to impress. You're here to teach." The first week, Noah kept quiet, watched, learned. But word spread fast. The broke mechanic who saved the CEO, the nobody who could tune an engine blindfolded. People started showing up by his workstation. Interns, analysts, even one of the head engineers, watching him shape metal with hands that had once been told they were worthless. He didn't try to fit in. He let the work speak, and it spoke loud. By the end of week 2, a board member asked him to lunch. By week 3, he was pulled into a closed-door meeting on a next-gen engine design. That night, Camilla knocked on his hotel room door. No suit, no heels, just her, in a hoodie and jeans, looking less like a CEO and more like a woman finally able to breathe. "You still think this is a fluke?" she asked. Noah nodded, quiet. "Every second." She walked in, sat on the edge of the bed. "Then let me ruin that for good." She pulled out a thin folder. Inside, an official contract. Position, senior engineering consultant, 6 figures. Relocation bonus, full benefits, stock options. Noah stared at it like it might vanish. "I'm not a suit," he said. "I'm a garage guy," she smiled. "And this company needs more garage guys." He looked up. "Why me?" Camilla looked him dead in the eyes. "Because you gave me a second chance, and now I'm giving it back." Outside the window, the city blazed with light. But inside that hotel room, Noah Briggs finally felt something he hadn't in years. Belonging. Not borrowed, not temporary, earned. Noah didn't just take the job. He reshaped it. 3 months into his contract, Rathmore's elite engineering division, once polished, tight-collared, and painfully academic, had shifted its rhythm. Interns began requesting time at Briggs Bay. Designers started asking for his input before running computer simulations. Even the arrogant lead engineer, Marcus Levin, who had once mocked Noah as the guy with the junkyard wrench, now walked around a little quieter when Noah was near. Because while others built with theory, Noah built with feel. He could hear an engine misfire just by how it breathed. He didn't need slideshows. He needed socket wrenches and intuition, and he made miracles happen. One Thursday afternoon, Camilla called him into her office. No suits, no boardroom formality. Just a quiet, sunlit space with a single folded document on her desk. Noah stepped in. "Something wrong?" She smiled. "Something's about to be very right." She slid the document toward him. He didn't touch it yet. "Top 3 names for our head of Rathmore's new experimental R&D division," she said. "Guess who's number 1? He shook his head, laughing dryly. "You're joking." "I'm not. I fought for it. The board doesn't know what to do with you. They say you're unconventional, unrefined, not corporate material. But the truth is, you're the only one who's rebuilt a collapsed engine design in under 6 hours using a coffee pot lid, a soldering pen and a gas station receipt. Noah blinked. That was one time. Camilla leaned in. One time that saved us $4.6 million. The job title wasn't the only thing changing. People who never gave him the time of day now wanted to collaborate. Old schoolmates started reaching out on social media. His ex-girlfriend, who once said, "You'll never amount to anything stuck in that garage," messaged him, "Saw your article in Forbes. Maybe we could catch up sometime?" Noah didn't respond. Instead, he donated a new roof to his old high school shop class, sent an anonymous check to the widow who used to bring him sandwiches when his parents died, and on a rainy afternoon, flew back to Benton Ridge. He pulled up to the crumbling shell of Briggs Auto, the place that raised him, broke him, and then birthed him again. The windows were dust-covered, the paint peeled, but he didn't flinch. He walked inside and sat on the same crate he once cried on. And that's when Dean Carter, the man who used to own the biggest garage chain in 3 counties, and the man who once fired Noah for taking too long on luxury cars, walked by. The open door, he paused, squinting into the dim light. "Noah?" Noah stood slowly, arms crossed, smile calm. Dean laughed nervously. "Heard you're in New York now. Big shots and boardrooms, huh?" "I'm still fixing engines," Noah said. "Just in places that respect it now." Dean coughed. "You, looking to sell this place?" Noah stepped forward. "Actually, no. I just bought the 3 garages surrounding yours." Dean's smile faded. "What?" "I'm starting a program," Noah said. "Free apprenticeships for blue-collar kids who never got the chance. We'll run circles around your shops, and guess what?" Dean swallowed hard. "We'll do it with second-hand tools." Later that night, Noah sat on the garage floor alone. Staring at the sky through the old skylight, he whispered into the dark, "Mom, Dad, I made it, and I didn't become them to do it." The months that followed weren't easy. Noah's rise had made waves and enemies. Some of the old-school executives at Rathmore were furious that a man with no formal degree, no polished pedigree, and a past soaked in grease and unpaid bills was now leading the most talked-about division in the company. They called him a fluke, a charity. Case Camilla pushed up, a mechanic playing executive. And they weren't quiet about it. At one board presentation, an older director named Bennett Stone folded his arms mid-pitch and said, "With all due respect, Mr. Briggs, we build cars here. We don't tune motorcycles behind barns." Noah didn't flinch. He stepped forward, unplugged the projector, and calmly handed everyone in the room a printed design. It was a blueprint, a working prototype of a self-healing fuel injection system. No one else on the team had cracked it, but Noah had, with tools, with touch. Camilla walked into the silence and simply said, "Any other concerns?" Stone stayed quiet after that, for good. Weeks later, Camilla invited Noah to her penthouse suite overlooking Central Park. It wasn't a date. It wasn't business. It was a reckoning. She poured 2 glasses of water, set down a thick folder between them, and said nothing for a minute. Noah finally asked, "What is it?" She stared at him. No armor, no corporate chill, just her. "Ownership," she said. "Part of Rathmore." His jaw tensed. "What?" Camilla pushed the folder toward him. "I don't want you to work for me anymore. I want you to work with me." Inside the folder, a 7-figure salary offer, executive board seat, 2% equity in Rathmore Motors. "This is insane," Noah whispered. Camilla nodded slowly. "So was pulling over to a dying garage in the middle of nowhere with a broken engine and no backup, but I did, and you changed everything." Noah didn't answer right away. He walked out onto her balcony and looked out at the glittering city below. He thought of his father's hands, calloused and cracked, He thought of his mother crying over bills. He thought of cold nights on that garage floor, holding on to hope, like a dying flame. He turned back. On one condition, he said. Camilla raised an eyebrow. Anything. You make Benton Ridge the official site of Rathmore's new apprenticeship factory. No press, no charity headline, just real jobs for people like me. Camilla smiled. Done. 1 year later, the Benton Ridge plant opened to little fanfare. No cameras, just claps and steel. Noah walked its floor with pride. He wasn't in a suit. He wore the same old boots, the same faded jacket, and every day new kids showed up, quiet, doubtful, broke. He taught them what no school ever could. How to feel the metal, how to listen to the hum, how to build with grit, not grades. One afternoon, a young girl named Eliza asked, "Did you really fix a Rathmore with duct tape?" Noah grinned. "I fixed a lot more than that, kid." She tilted her head. "Like what?" He looked out at the floor, at kids welding, soldering, dreaming, like myself. Camilla never took her name off the company, but inside every Rathmore now, stamped just beneath the hood, were the letters NB, for the ones who were never supposed to make it. And when visitors asked what it stood for, the answer was always the same: Noah Briggs, the broke mechanic who changed everything.